On today's show, the Honda Clarity is a fuel cell project disguised as a luxury car. Teslas have lots of quality problems, but customers love them anyway, and why the European emission standards are not nearly as tough as people think they are. All that and more coming right up on Autoline Daily. This is Autoline Daily, the show for those who really want to know what's going on in the global automotive industry. Well, this could be the end of an era. Former Volkswagen chairman Ferdinand Piech resigned from the company nearly 2 years ago, but he kept his seat on the board of supervisors and retained a stake in Porsche SE, which is an investment company that owns a controlling interest in Volkswagen AG. But now Piech is reportedly going to sell his nearly 15% stake, which is worth an estimated 1.1 billion euros. Piech, whose grandfather was Ferdinand Porsche, must give the family a first crack at buying his stake, and they probably will. Piech had an enormous influence on Porsche and Audi and Volkswagen and, it must be said, the global automotive industry. Tesla Model S's and X's owners admit they have lots of quality problems with their cars. Even so, they love them. That's according to a new study from J.D. Power. Researchers found that Tesla owners see themselves as early adopters of new technology, so they're willing to look past issues that would normally destroy any other brand. Besides, they own other cars, so when the Tesla's in the shop, they have other options. But J.D. Power says that could change with the Model 3. Once Tesla gets past the early adopters, J.D. Power says owners will be less forgiving since the Model 3 will be their primary mode of transportation. Everybody in the automotive industry knows that Lear makes car seats, but like most suppliers, it's venturing into the world of mobility. Lear was just chosen by the state of Wyoming to supply the technology needed for V2V and V2I communication. Wyoming is one of the U.S. Department of Transportation's pilot sites for connected vehicles, focusing on trucking and highway driving in bad weather conditions. And if you want to learn more about what the company's doing, check out our Autoline This Week with Matt Simoncini, the CEO of the company. You can find it on Autoline.tv or on our YouTube channel. And still to come, I'll tell you why environmentalists consider Europe's emission standards a joke.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems, advanced materials that deliver better results. And by Lear, a global leader in automotive seating and electrical systems.
Last week I got the opportunity to test drive the Honda Clarity powered by a fuel cell, and I was pretty impressed by the car. It's a roomy 5-passenger sedan that's whisper quiet and luxuriously appointed. And it handles well thanks to a fully independent suspension and a low center of gravity. Most fuel cell cars don't have much trunk room because the cylinder that holds the hydrogen takes up so much room, but thanks to clever packaging, the Clarity has a decent amount of trunk space. It uses 2 tanks, which hold just over 5 kilos of hydrogen. That delivers 366 miles of driving range, and the tank can be filled in less than 5 minutes, giving it a decided advantage over battery electrics. The EPA officially rates it as a 68 mpg e-car. Like most electrics, the car accelerates very well off the line, but runs out of oomph at higher speeds. The fuel cell Clarity is already on sale in California, and Honda's about to introduce plug-in and battery versions of the car, and we'll have more information about them in upcoming shows. And in yesterday's show, I claimed that U.S. emission standards are the toughest in the world. Well, that got some people riled up, especially in Europe. They pointed out that EU standards require lower outputs of pollutants, including CO2, on a grams per kilometer basis. But here's the problem with European standards. The testing procedures are full of loopholes. The tests themselves are very easy, and they bear little relation to what's happening on the open road. The International Council on Clean Transportation, or ICCT, found that European cars, on average, emit 40% more CO2 on the open road than the regulations allow in the test lab. The British firm Emissions Analytics found that NOx emissions were 4 times higher than allowed. These easy-breezy test procedures have bedeviled European environmentalists for years. They want them changed. In fact, it was the ICCT that commissioned the University of West Virginia to test Volkswagen diesels on the open road. The ICCT wanted to prove to European regulators that they could tighten up their test procedures because the U.S. standards were so much stricter. And we all know what happened. Instead of finding the proof it was after, the ICCT uncovered Volkswagen's cheating with defeat devices. So when you look at what's really going on, U.S. emission standards are far tougher than they are in Europe. Coming up next, we'll take a look at Ford's plans for using 3D printing.
Bridgestone engineers are helping Larry Fitzgerald go long.
Bridgestone's dual Lenza Plus is engineered to go 80,000 miles.
I love anything that goes long. Long hair, long passes, long dogs.
We're going to do this for 80,000 miles? Or?
Long hugs, long weekends.
On last week's Autoline After Hours, we were joined by Ellen Lee, the technical leader of additive manufacturing research at Ford, and she discussed the number of different areas the company uses 3D printing.
So Ford has been using 3D printing for 26 or 27 years.
Wow.
Most for prototyping. Last year, our prototype facilities produced about 250,000 prototype parts for all of our vehicles. And a big part of that is for race vehicles. So our racing program utilizes that quite a bit because most of their applications, or a lot of their applications, are just 1 or 2. Right, so it's perfect for those applications.
So these are real parts that are being used on the cars, or are these just prototype parts that are being used?
Once in a while for a racing program, if there is a part that needs to be installed for one race that there's no mold or tool for, then it would be something that goes onto a vehicle. It wouldn't be something really structural, but right. Some of those parts do go onto cars that complete races. But we also do a lot of prototyping for both racing program and our regular vehicle programs.
Dealerships?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But that's a great application. So that's something that we are looking at.
To learn more about Ford's 3D printing operations, you can watch that entire show right now on our website, Autoline.tv, or look for it on our YouTube channel. And that wraps up today's show. Thanks for watching, and we welcome you to join us again tomorrow.